Hey everybody. Alright, so we'll probably let some folks drop in. The more that I'm doing this, the more that I think I really need to do what one of my kids said and get a third monitor and a bigger desk. So I think the lighting is okay this morning. Let's see. It's alright. It's not great. But I hope everybody is doing well. Didn't get to stream yesterday. Had some things going on around the house. Had the property being surveyed. That's an interesting process. That's a lot of geometry. It was very interesting. So all right. So let's see. What do we want to talk about today? So when you drop in, go ahead and let me know that you're here because I need to get this set up. I need to split these screens. I need to move these around. Alright, so I can see chat. I can see... Can I make this different size? Let's see. Alright. No. What all do I want? I want this spider over here. So I want to talk about, I know today one thing I definitely want to talk about is my ugly example of the original reverse triangle. Let's see if I can find that, because that thing, no. Been using, there we go. Triangle. Does this have reverse triangle in it? Let's spell reverse. Recursive. Oh, do you guys know what recursion is and recursiveness? Oh, this is a good one too. This is a really good one for repeatable code. So this is here. Oops. I have that up. Oh, one spider controls... That's interesting and good to know. One spider controls another spider. So when you have a file open... Alright, let me bring this over here. Let's copy this. So check this out. This is the perfect example of what I mean by repeatable code. Let's go this here. I'll copy and paste. We'll put it right here. Paste. And hide it. Alright, now run it. There we go. Alright, so check this out. Here's a perfect example of repeatable code of how to go about doing this. Is this in frame? I think I checked it. Alright, cool. Alright, let's see you all. Let me go back to... Hey, Unfinished, how you doing? Mad Gaming. Hey, how are you? Alright, so... Curious, can you two put in y'all's time zone? Just, you don't have to tell me where, just time zone wise. The time where it is. Don't even tell me the time. I don't even want to know. Complete anonymity. I don't know if you guys think that word is funny. That word is very funny to me too. All right. What time it is where you are, and then I can do the math. I can figure it out. Because I'm UTC minus, well, with the time zone, I'm either UTC minus 6 or UTZ minus 5. I struggle with the daylight time. So, all right, let's look and see what I'm doing here. So this is exactly like the repeatable code that I was talking about the instructions of going through. Hey Jan, how are you? So, all right. Doing good. What about you? I'm okay. UTC plus 3. Okay. Very cool. Europe-ish. Eastern Europe. Okay, cool. All right. Am I thinking about that right? Yeah, because I'm minus, so I'm to the west. Cool. That is awesome. All right. So let's be focused on this right now. So I created That's awesome. That's so funny. Well, yep. Now look. I have a bunch of. We could clean this up if we look right here. So this was a little sloppy and a little lazy. So we can kind of deduce what I'm doing here. Never really thought about this. This is a little bit of sloppy code. So all of this right here is repeated. Let's go over that one more time. And then it drops off here. So I cheated and just went here and then do another one of these. And then if you look really close, do another one of these. So, all right, let me show you the way I did this. And I know there's a huge debate of inside the Python community if why is this legal to multiply. Why is this statement legal to multiply a string by a integer? Well, you're getting it's replicating. So that's my argument. There are programming purists out there, and that's where, in my opinion, you get into the snobbiness of programming languages, and you can't do that. That shouldn't work, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you have one of something and then you replicate it and you have two of something, you have doubled it. So that's why in my head, I have no qualms with this. So, all right. So I create one variable. It is our pluses. And it's just a plus and a space if we look really, really close. So plus and a space. And then a minus and a space. So it's all of this. So I have made now I've made a bottom, I've made a mid, and then now to make a box, I can't highlight that, so there we go. Just one of these, I do a bottom and a middle. And I have my, I don't know, some people call these pipes. I don't know the actual term. It's in between the, it's on the same key as the backslash. So I don't know if you guys had, I know I struggled with backslash and forward slash. So it goes by which way the top is leaning. If it's leaning to the forward slash. If it's leaning backwards, it is backward slash. So, all right. So what I did is I created, just like our circles and our dots, where I've talked about repeatable code, we created a bottom, and then we created the mid, everything right here, because I have a loop of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I took those functions, and then I created another function. So there was one discussion, I think, about nested code. I can't remember, unfinished, if you brought that up or not. But this is a perfect example of using a function inside another function. And we also talked about memory allocation or memory assignment and location. So basically, Python, this is completely legal because all Python does is goes, oh, wait a minute, I've heard of this. Let me come up here and read what you want me to go through and do. So it does that, and then we go, and then if we look really, really close, then I have grid, so the entire grid, and I have, okay, what it was not you unfinished. All right, sorry about that. So then in grid, I call box, which then comes here and then looks at bottom and middle. So I call box twice, and then I call bottom. So bottom is actually, if you really think about it, it's the same as the top. And I just was like, I guess I could have called that boundary. Vertical? No, horizontal. These would be my verticals. So that was the way, and I completely forgot about this one right here. Now, let me go see if I can find my ugly number triangle. Give me a second. Because that thing was awful. Triangle. Sorry about that. Actually, I should turn down my audio. There we go. And I can't remember. Do I have muted the desktop audio? I do not. Let me mute that now. There. So if anything comes through on the computer, you guys will not have to listen to it. All right. Didn't turn my watch on after I charged it. Okay, we were talking about my bad number triangle. Let's go and do that. And I also want to talk about the chicken nuggets, and then we can look at let me find the triangle, and then we got is even. Ooh, yeah, we want to talk about is even. Let me just type triangle. There we go. Yeah, okay, here's the let me go and comment. We'll just do this. Copy. Bring this over here. All right, so let's look at this garbage that I did to get this to work. So all right, what was I doing, and how did I go about doing this? So this was a very long way to get the same result, and that's what I guess. Optimization is great, but getting it to work first. Do you have the code? I did. I discovered something really interesting. When we make the first range 1 through 6, the reverse number triangle becomes the pyramid. No way, really? Okay, hang on. All right, we'll go. Here's yours. So you're saying change this to 2, and it automatically becomes. No way. Okay. All right. Well, let's unpack this. That is absolutely awesome. So if I make this 12, it'll go to 6. Oops. F9. All right, so there's a bug there. Let's do. Okay, well, all right. Okay, you get A. Well, let's look at it. Oh, that is super cool. So let's tweak this a little bit. What is it, 11? 9. Okay. All right. Let's unpack this a minute. So that is, I can't remember what. All right. This is great. So let's see. So we got 5 comes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the same. So as but it's going up by 2s. Okay, so we're splitting the difference. Okay. So we have 1 come out, then we have 3, 5. All right, so that's our steps. And okay, this is why this dies. Well, then we get into the issue of 2 places and 1 place. We would need to solve that. We could solve that with padding. Sorry, I leaned over across from my mic. How is the audio? Is it loud enough? Because I have the mic set at 150%. So let me know if you can hear me okay. But this is so cool. All right. Because I can't remember if I have... it's good to me. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, guys. All right. I love it. This is what I'm obsessed about programming. And old coworker of mine, she and I, we would kind of, when we'd have something, we would work on it in parallel, and basically see who comes up with it first, and then also see what we can learn and then share with the other one, because very rarely have we ever come up with the same solution. And that's why I think programming is so cool, because again, with this, I probably would not have, because I'm trying to think. Let's see. I'm trying to think of if I did a pyramid. Let's come over here. Pyramid. Open. Do I have a pyramid? I don't think I do. Let's look in Python 3.8. See if there's a pyramid. Where's my cursor? Those are all okay. Let's go back to 3.6. So I have so many. I wonder if it's in the triangle. No. All right. Let me see if I have my better. Oh, okay. Let's go through this monstrosity right here of how I'm doing this. So basically I created, so I had my, okay, good. Coloring's still good. Go back to the stream. All right. Jan, is that, pretty sure I did. Is that the pyramid or the triangle? Sorry. I know I'm all over the place right now. That's the danger of me live streaming, is because you guys will see a whole lot of the ADHD coming out. You guys use pyramid. Okay. I know I have it somewhere. I'm going to have to dig into it. Pyramid. All right, cool. I thought I did, but I know it's really, really, really old, and I can't remember. I think the way that I had it done is it was 1 1 2 1 1 2, so it would look like this. It's got to be. Actually, let's talk about some basics. So if I wanted to do multi-line, so that's illegal. Anybody know why or what I need to do? I accidentally did it without asking a question. Anybody know how to turn this and make this not like this? All right. There. That's how you make this legal. So it's a multi-line string. All right. So this is what, let's just do 1 2 3. Bingo. Ooh, what are the asterisks? Oh, I see what you're saying. That's 6. Yes, I got it. Okay, so 1, then 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was the number pyramid that I guess I had in my head. And that because it was from, it was either a pamphlet or a book that I had run across. So it was like the first Python book that I had gotten, and it had so many, it talked about, I mean, it covered everything, and it was very, very thorough, but still jumped over so many of the important things of, okay, so why, yes, this is cool, but what are the subtleties? There were no subtleties in any of the information I was going into, and that was the creation of the YouTube channel. How to help with the subtleties, how to help fill in the blanks. There we go. Filling in the gaps that other creators or courses or instructors were inadvertently creating. So if I had a question, so basically, I don't know if I've ever really talked about this, but if I searched for something on YouTube when I was learning, that was basically a definite video that I was going to be making. If there was none, and actually had Dax that was on here this weekend pointed out that probably there aren't a lot of Dax and Python videos. So I will probably be, so I'm ironing out this week. Yesterday was weird. I'm actually glad I had we were busy around the house doing stuff with the property line. But whenever there was some sort of gap on YouTube, generator in Python, that's a good one. So how much do you know about generators? Do you know, because I don't know how far to go. Do you know that I have videos on generators? Are you aware of that? Because it's kind of a challenge I put out. If you have a subject, because almost 1,100 videos. I'm about to pass that threshold and have to make a new, you don't. Okay. That is awesome. Is that the triangle or the pyramid? Let's see. Can you copy from chat? There we go. Okay. Whoa, what was that? Okay. Don't know why. There we go. I have no idea why it is making all of these crazy suggestions. Okay, well, oh, got another print. I've never seen it do this. All right, let's copy this, see what happens. My spider's acting nuts today. There we go. Awesome. That's what I'm talking about, Jan. Thank you very much. All right, so here we go. So this is why I love this community, and this is why I love having Jan around. He is a great support. So I have no idea where this is, and he went through and took time. So thank you very much. This is why he's a moderator here on the YouTube channel and a moderator on our Discord, because of this this service and this help for me, and I greatly appreciate it. And Jan's been around a long time. How many years has it been? Is it 4 or is it 3? But I don't know. And I've actually been asked that. How to become a moderator? Well, you're not sure either? Okay. But it's a while. It is a while. This YouTube channel is 7 years old, and I was doing free code camp streams probably 5 years ago. Should be around 4 years. Yeah. That sounds exactly right. Were you a moderator on free code camp streams too? I know I'm getting old and my memory is very shady, but I think you were helping me moderate on that too. Okay, all right. We'll walk down memory lane. All right, so let's see. Yes, so what I'm doing here is Really? Okay, yeah, you told me that. Unfinished. You did. You said, and then you were asking me because you brought up. Okay, now let me see if I remember. You brought up ADHD, and you saw that mentioned in a live stream or a stream on Free Code Camp, if I'm remembering that right. Okay, all right. Let's see. Where were we? Oh yeah, this ugliness. So this right here, really? Okay, started learning to code at the end of 18, but back then I learned math and the logic parts to get into the headspace. And when I actually started to code, should be mid 2019. Okay. So I'm about 4 years. I need to go back. So my daughter's 16. So she was probably 5 or 6. So I've been with Python 10, 11 years. Something like that. And I realized I got stuck a lot. I got stuck a great deal. And it was becoming frustrating. And so we were talking about like passion projects and things like that. So that was actually where the YouTube channel came from. It was to force me, because I didn't know what to learn. I didn't know what to practice. I was just, I liked puzzles and things. I liked this. This was interesting to me. But I was running out of, and I didn't quite know about those, the coding platforms, the challenge platforms to do that. But I was like, I need to do something. And yes, first met via Free Code Camp. I was a mod. Yeah. Okay. On the last two, yep. And sorry, we were talking about the YouTube channel. So I knew that I needed something. So in my headspace, I was trying to figure out what was going to propel me to continue doing something. So I was like, I needed a push, or really a pull. So I needed to make a commitment to something, because I was wrapping my head around, because my parents have been business owners for, as old as I am, 47 years. So yes, they own the business, but they worked for the business, and that was the breakthrough that I really got my head around. So I needed to make something bigger than me. So I created the YouTube channel so that I was going to show up and work for the YouTube channel. I would own it, but I began working for the YouTube channel. So I was setting deadlines and things like that. So I was showing up to work. I was handling the planning. So I made it bigger than myself, because if we just do it for ourselves, I don't know if you're like me, but you're here, so you're probably like me. We struggle with these things to do things for ourselves. But if you elevate it and you make it bigger than you and you have it be something, it is so much easier to fulfill that, or I have found for me. So that was, and then that became tricky. So I made a commitment. So the real growth that I had was when I made the commitment that I was going to do, because I was doing two videos a week, something like that, something really bad. And then I noticed that I would get like a subscriber maybe every video or every 2 videos. I began to notice a correlation. So I was like, okay, so I need more videos. So that was when I made the decision that I would make a video a day for a year. So that would propel me and get me 365 videos in a year. And I think I had only done maybe 100 or 52. And I also, I lied to myself and I took like a 2 or 3 month break on my videos. And I act like I didn't do that, so I have to remind myself about that. But all right, I digress. Let's get into what I'm doing. This is the pyramid, so let's look at the reverse triangle. All right, F9. So how am I going about doing this? So I have my 10 rows. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 rows, because we have inclusive and exclusive. So if you're not sure about inclusive and exclusive, please drop that down into chat and I will go over it. So all right, let's see. So how many columns, how many rows? And then now here is handling the columns. These are the spaces, and these are the digits. So this was the first way that I thought about doing it, and I was like, oh, wow, this works. Let me see. Do I have... And here is a cleaner way. So let's move this and get these together. Copy. Oh, thank you very much. You just got into university today? You just got accepted today? That is absolutely awesome. That is fantastic. You should be so very proud of yourself. That is very cool. And thank you for sharing that here. And I'm really happy for you. I really am. All right. So let's put these side by side. This is the ugly one. Yeah. All right. So put these all together. Organized and structured. So, all right. F9. And then, come on. And then F9. And we have these together. So we can look right here. You were very welcome. So, all right. So, ugly. Pretty. But you have to... This is... If somebody's telling you and you're new and you write this and they're like, what are you doing? This is awful. Don't hang out with that person because you got it to work. If they go, hey, is there any way that you think you could optimize this? That would be a more productive way, because I want you to think about this. So now we're tiptoeing optimization and talking about cost. We are beginning to tiptoe out of my area of expertise, but I get this because we are now running this. We are running a for loop so many more times and having to then iterate through. So when you're getting into loops and going over the same information, it's becoming more expensive. So when you take this and multiply it by a factor of 1,000,000, you're doing this not only 1,000,000 times, but the length of this. So you're now doing this action 10 million times. So that's processor time, power, blah, 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 blah. So when you get into those things, then you need to worry about efficiency. But first problem, get it to work. Get it to do what you want it to, then optimize it. So I did this probably 6-8 years ago, something like that. So it's garbage, but it works. Now, this is me now. I was reteaching this to someone, now I can say old coworker, past coworker, and doing the exact same thing, just I'm doing it one at a time, because right here I'm literally doing each of these spaces and I'm with a for loop. But here I'm multiplying. So just give you the premise of what I'm doing here. So if we look, let's get this here. Copy 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Paste. Yeah, here we go. So here's an important feature that I want to draw your attention to. And that, when I say math, I really just mean plain logic and plain thinking through the problem. So if we look really, really close, this is really a rectangle, right? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 columns. And the only thing that changes is the number of spaces and the number of digits. But it's all still 5. So what needs to happen is you need to go, well, all right. So the first time, so if I have 1, I need 4 spaces. If I have 1, 2, I need 3 spaces. So what are we doing? We're taking, so I need the remainder. I need the remainder to be spaces. So if I have 1, I need 4 blank spaces. If I have 2, I need 3 blank spaces. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm taking the length, so I'm cleaning this up right here. Multiplying my spaces by, so our outside, our most outside loop are our number of rows. Oops, number of rows. 1, 2, because it's going to iterate through and do these instructions here and this many times. No. So the difference is my 5, which we could actually make this a variable, probably, and then be able to make this more dynamic. So if I wanted to make this, let's see, rows, let's see, 5. Let's make this more dynamic. And then we need to do rows plus 1. Let's test this and make sure I did this right. Bingo. So now I've made this dynamic. So then if I want to come up here and make this 6, so I only had to change one variable. Boom. Okay. So this is a perfect example of how you take things and you make them dynamic and then more than likely, if you were to be really, really automating this would be coming in from someplace. But you'd have this would be either being handled from some other input, a user, grabbing from a stream of data. But you would do something like this. You would build it. So the way that I would also recommend this is hard coding this to something that would work with actual integers, and then as you're going, oops, close. I hate it when I do that. And then making this more dynamic. That is the way you want to go about doing this. All right. Let's see. Now, this ugly way that I did this is so this was my first attempt at this. And I was like, all right, so we're going to have this come through, and every time through, I'm going to make one space. So I did this in a very, very sloppy and non-cost efficient way. So there we go. Let's see. Before I move on to the chicken nuggets, does anybody have any question? And thank you, Jan, for finding that pyramid. Now I'm gonna have to dig back through and be more prepared. I love it. Absolutely love it. Old and new. What do I have in old and new? That is so funny. It got edited in 2019. I have an old and new folder inside oh my gosh, that was one of my first panda. I found a names folder, and that was from one of the first pandas that I had done, and it was examining baby names. It had baby names and the year in which they happened. All right. For loops, experiment, guessing. Oh, have you guys seen the stuff where I made the program guess? We think of a number, and we tell the program if they need to guess higher or lower. Have you guys seen that one? Let's see if I have generators. Let's see if I have any generators. Farhan, you still here? You want to look at generators? Because we can talk about generators. I need to find an example. Was it in ideas? We can also talk about prime numbers. Those are good. Generators. Let's see. Generator pseudo random. Generate pseudo. Let's see. All right. Generators. Don't know if Farhan is still here, but we can look at some generator stuff. So, all right. So, generators are an interesting topic. The reason why generators are important is they basically, what's the best way to explain this? Let's get this on, there we go. And F9. All right, so what in the world is this doing? So this goes and creates basically the rules of this. And when you use a yield, it doesn't compute all the way. It's a technique to save memory, to save processing. No, not save memory. That's a lie. To save processing, because it only runs when it absolutely has to. That is a good way to see this. And let me see if I have another generator. I have this, and then I have deep dive into generator. So I'll have to go back, because I haven't looked at generators in a while. So what am I doing here? Series, let's see. And then 5. What is it? 5, and then next 5. What is the syntax to utilize? So it basically stores. It's a good question. I'm gonna have to. I haven't used a generator in. So it's basically. It's like storing and remembering where you are. I know I have. Can't remember if it was in my shopping list video that we were doing this, but basically remembers where you are in a series of things, and it doesn't run all the way, and it saves processor, and it does save memory. Yeah, it does, because it saves this in location, and it's like, hey, go ahead and just, I know what you're going to do. I'm going to store this here. I'm going to yield something, not quite all the way make it. So let's see. Let's just look at. Let's see. Help on 5. It's generator object. Get frame running. GI send throw close. Raise generator exit. I know I have a great example of this, so let me make a note somewhere of what I need to actually. We need to talk about this tomorrow, because I'm gonna get going and try to do better live streams and be more prepared. So all right, I wasn't prepared for such a really good question today, and I know I got generator stuff somewhere. Let me do a search. 3.6 generator, no ideas. That was the old one. EX1, no. Oh, here's a good one. You guys know the rule for leap years? I did not know what the actual rule for. I thought I knew what a leap year was and how it was calculated until I got. Oops, what was that? Okay. I thought I knew what all the rules for leap year until I got a Python question to solve. So I'm just curious. Anybody know what the rule, how to calculate a leap year, or what the definition of a leap year is? So, all right. And this is actually a great question to try to write a function for. So, all right. Let me see if I can remember and how to explain this. So, not there. All right, leap year. All right, so if year divided by 4, my numbers lock is off. That's okay. if there is zero remainder. Okay, leap year is a year which can be divided by both 4, 100, and 400. Ooh, that is a perfect way to put it, because I think that is exactly right. Jan, I think that is exactly right, because yep. So here's an example. So leap year, so leap year, not leap year. Don't know why I keep wanting to put an R in here. Leap year. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Leap year. Now, here's where it gets cool, and Jan's really clean explanation. So, it has to be divisible by 4, 100, and, well, wait a second. All right, because, yeah, 96 divided by, okay, so it has to be divisible by 4. And here we go. And then if it's divisible by 100, it also then has to be divisible by 400. All right. So here's a perfect example. So if you happen to be alive in 2000, so if you happen to be alive in 2000, that was the first leap year we've had since, or a century leap year since 1600. So what is happening? Don't quote me on the fractions of it, because that's what throws me off and why I have to think about it like this. So if it's divisible by 4, great. But then if year divisible by 100, it then has to be also year divisible by 400 to be, because return true, else return false. So let's go through that. So this is a perfect test for you. I mean, if you really want to see the answer, you can go back and look at my, because I think I have a video on this. Pretty sure I do. And then we'll talk about, still haven't made a note on generators. Let me do that. Close PB dictionary. What is that? Oh, palindrome. Man, we have so much stuff. Palindromes. Okay, hang on. Let's just, what do I want to say? Generators. Yep. Okay. All right. Leap years. All right. Anybody know what a palindrome is? Because I think the first time I heard what a palindrome was probably on one of my favorite shows, Big Bang Theory. So, but does everybody get this concept of our what the leap year is? So this is a great exercise to go and write a function for, because you're going to have nested statements, and you're going to have paths to go through and have to deal with that. So that is a great exercise to be thinking about. But palindromes, I know we've got a few more people dropping in. Anybody give me a quick definition of a palindrome? All right. Perfect. That's great, Anna. Or dad, mom. The one that gets me is race car. I'm like, what? All right, so look at this. I didn't believe it. Okay, and again. So RACECE. So race car is a palindrome, but that is exactly right. Forwards and backwards. So that is a great exercise. How would you go about, what's a good way, and I'm completely missing these Discord messages. Let's bring this over here. Jan, I'm so sorry. I did not see these. Let's see. Okay, awesome. Jan is on it. So I had a generator. I had generator in classes, and I did that on the free code camp. You're at. Okay, cool. You're right. That we are going to do that tomorrow. Well, I got to go find my stuff, or I guess I'm going to be going back and watching old videos. Let's see. Okay. So palindromes. How would we go about, and anybody know what this is called? And what is this doing right here? Because this is something to know about, because yes, it's math. But don't get caught up on it being math. Get caught up on it being logic. Just how did you go about? How did you make that decision? How did you know how to pick? How did you know to pick that? It's like, well, that's an even number. Okay, great. How would you explain that to a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old who is learning math? How will you count by twos? Well, you're skipping over. You're counting by twos, so yes, you know you're going by twos, but how would, so if you have that tool, how would you go about, because you have, I like the is even function to build, because then you can easily catapult very quickly and easily from the is even into is prime. And I don't know if it's because I'm very proud of it, because it was one of my first really big solutions that I created for the was it the MIT course? I think it was the MIT course, and how to find the 100th prime number, because I mean I couldn't I had to make this and I had to test it, because I'm like, there's no way. I have no idea what the 100th prime number is. So I had to make the function and I had to test it. You always want it, validation. Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. Validation. Because, do not ever quote me on spelling. Don't, if you see, I will own this. I cannot spell. Do not act like I can spell. All right. So validation. So that's probably the biggest thing. Validation, testing, A/B testing, whatever you want to call it. Making sure it's right. Making sure you're getting the outcome that you're expecting. And kind of like a proof in math. Can you prove that this is correct? Can you prove it's incorrect? So what, I mean, balancing weights and measures, things like that. So as you're going through, you want to test a very small sample set, a static environment. So that's what I became. That's what I learned. I mean, it was just constantly learning in a static environment how to make sure that what I was building was doing exactly what did I do. And then also, oh my God, the thing that edge cases. Holy crap. Does this now haunt my dreams? But edge cases is a very interesting. It's like, what can happen? It's not going to happen that much, but have you defended against it? Have you built something? So kind of like this every 400 years thing. So here's your edge case. It's only going to happen every so often, but are you prepared for it? What happens if somebody does an input of this? How are you going to air handling? Whatever you want to call it. It's a very vital part of thinking about your logic, thinking about how you're going to handle things. Edge cases are vital. So I had one teammate, they were unbelievable at validation. We would spend a day or so thinking of all the different paths that would just happen before we even started testing. And then we went through and we tested every single scenario to make sure it went. Then when I moved over to the automation and rapid application development segment, edge cases, that partner was phenomenal at coming up with crazy edge cases of things that could go wrong. And we thought about, well, he thought about, I learned to think about everything that could go wrong, be prepared for it to go wrong. And that's it. So, all right. So modulo, that's how I pronounce this. So what this is doing is basically think about the remainder. So if I have, so right now I'm multiplying, I'm dividing by, so it's a divisor like, but you get the remainder. So 1900 divided by 100. See, I get zero remainder. So now let's do 1996 divided by 100. I get 0.96. Got 96 as my remainder. So if I do 1900 modulo 100, I get 0. So this is a very handy tool, and I became obsessed with this. And I remember I spent, the kids in the classes that I was volunteering, their eyes started rolling around in their head because I wanted to drive this home. But then we started doing some really cool stuff, and we were going through and finding all sorts of ways to do this, and I absolutely just loved it. So because this is vital for finding a prime number. So is even. So if it is even, let's talk about this. So if it is even and equivalent. So we know, I doubt any of you are super new here, but we'll touch on this for a second. So this is assigning, can't do that, sorry. 6 equals 6. Variable assigned to information, linking it with an equal sign. This is not an equivalent, this is a link. This is an equivalent. Oops. 6 equals 6. F9. Okay, this is true because this is a truthy statement. I remember the first time I read that maybe 2 years ago. I was like, what is a truthy, falsy and truthy? And I was like, how have I not seen this? So, okay, this is an equivalency test. Are these equivalent? Now, here's another one. This is what blew me away. So 6 is 6. No. 6 is 6. Syntax warning is with a literal. Did you mean? Okay. But, whoa, I've never seen this. Is literal. Did you mean? No. That is so cool. Okay. But, because these are exactly the same. Now, you typically use an is for a I'm trying to think an exact replica like the ID location of the object. That's typically what you use an is for. But I wanted to show that these are pointing to the exact same information. All right. Let's see. How long are we? We're at an hour and 6 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to try to do another 50 plus minutes. We'll see. All right. And then, of course, then you have 6. Okay. Yes, you will need to use the modulo in the leap year. So now let's run this F9. So, all right. If you have not seen this, if by chance, but I think you guys are all seasoned programmers, this is a not equal to, not equivalent. And that took me a minute. I'm like, wait a minute, what? So the exclamation and an equal sign, not equivalent, not the same. Sorry, I thought I got a text. Okay, no, my phone's charging over on my other desk. I didn't hear it, but I checked my watch. Okay, let's see. We're going to talk about, let's go back over here to the other page. We're going to talk about leap year. We're going to talk about generators. We're going to do generators tomorrow. Edge cases. So, all right, here's a perfect edge case for, we're going to do is positive. So, def is positive. Take in x. Let's see. If no, don't want to see that. If x greater than 0, return positive. Else return negative. And then test print is underscore positive. 15. Copy, paste, -2. Negative, whatever that is, 100. Okay, and then there we go. All right. Have I missed anything? Okay, so let's run this because now, so this looks pretty okay. But have I handled all of our edge cases? So now what happens if I do this? And I do that. And I run this again. 1, 2. So negative. I should probably say, let's see. So we have 15, that's positive. -2, that's negative. -100, that's negative. This big number, 15,000 something, positive, and then 0 is negative. Well, wait a second. That's incorrect. Now, I used to love it when kids in the classroom be like, it's wrong. And I'm like, what? I'd get so happy. I get, the wrong answer came out. and I would be giddy, because it's a very interesting thought exercise. Yes, this is an incorrect statement, but it did exactly like I told it to. So this is this leap that a human being has to be very humble and wants to understand. So humility is vital in programming. So the reason why this is wrong is because my design is incorrect. So this needs to be elif x less than 0. No, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to do this. elif x less than 0, negative, else return 0. All right. Now let's run this. See what happens. F9. Ta-da! So all right. So we fixed our problem. So what was our issue here? Because I had touched on this on one of the other streams. Everybody thinks that there are two situations here, positive and negative. But I'm kind of obsessed with the number line. Is the 0 aspect. I do this exercise to kind of I tie this into the 0 indexing. I think I showed. Has anybody not here seen the bread, the slice for indexing? Let's see. Let me pull that up. Documents. Bread. Yeah, sample. I got a sample cartoon table data. I got to go back and look at that later. Okay. So if you've not seen, don't know why this is taking so long. All right. So if you haven't seen this, this is a good example. But I tie in that exercise about the 0 that has the 0 is important and 0 has a place. Because of this. So I want to drive home 0 indexing and starting place is 0, positive indexing, negative indexing. So, all right. I tend to tie those two examples in, but there's actually 3 paths here. Super secret, third path. Everybody thinks there's positive and negative numbers. Yes, but as a programmer, there's always more than you typically think too. Just like the instructions for making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Grab the bread. Hold the loaf in one hand. Remove the twist tie with the other hand. Insert hand into bag. Now see, and then you just break, you have layers to that. It breaks. I call it big rocks, flipping over big rocks to find smaller rocks, and then underneath the smaller rocks, there's even smaller rocks. Kind of like breaking open the atom. We're just continuously finding more and more and more and more stuff inside the atom. And I'm actually reading 2 parallel books on the path of making the atomic bomb. And it's very, very interesting. I mean, it goes one of them goes all the way back to how like the beginnings of the sciences of OPPS. Is that object-oriented programming? Is that what you're asking about? Just want to clarify. Node it. Is that close? Am I close? So yeah, object-oriented programming. So classes. So perfect. All right. So basically, we're going to tie. Actually, I'm going to go back and pull out because that's very interesting. So Jan, our moderator, went back and pulled out a video of generators and classes. So all right, before I begin to deep dive into this, do you know what a class is in Python? And also, if you've not joined the Discord server, Jan, can you double check? Do I have the Discord server link, invite link in the description? Can you confirm that for me? I feel like I edited that, but I'm not 100% sure if Jan's still here. And Jan, thank you for joining us today, as always, as an outstanding moderator. Keeps me in line and keeps me moving. Let's see. Yeah, generator and classes. We're going to definitely talk about that tomorrow. All right. Perfect. All right. So if you've not joined the Discord server, make sure you're doing that because that's the easiest way to pass code back and forth or ask questions, because I'll see that probably easier and quicker than any comments on videos. So all right. Noted. Classes in Python. Do you know what a class is in Python, or how to build a class and how to reference a class? Have you done any of that? Because that's how far back we'll need to go. But a class is basically think about the examples that I remembered is think about like a car. So you have a base model. You're going to create an object. And everything in Python is an object, but this is a more explicit way to create your own objects. So you have lists. Integers, floats, all of these things are objects. Well, in Python, I call it just bare bones. You can go back and begin to create your own. So let's say you created a car, and it was just a simple car object. And then you created that in a function or in a script, and that's your base code. And then anybody else who came along behind you would be able to add things to it, add a color, like a car, like you have a base car model, and then you can change and adjust and put a bigger engine in it, change the paint, add specific things to it, specific radio, leather interior, like a supercharger, things like these. All of this is a concept of object-oriented programming, and then that object has rules. You create functionality with it. You create methods. You have object-oriented programming and functional programming. So they both have their place and they both have their use, and it's just like another tool for your toolbox. What do I need at this time? What would be a better use case? So in a game, you would attack and utilize object-oriented programming. So you would set up ground rules. And so like if, as the player moves, its hitbox around it moves. So you would design a perimeter around your player, your object, or a block that's moving down. If it gets hit with off a wall, it will get redirected. If it gets hit with a bullet or some sort of projectile, something that can damage it, you then would build in rules that if I get hit with this and this happens. So it is like the way that I have in my head is like embedded programming. So you're creating here. Let's dir list. So all right, this is this is object-oriented programming. So here's everything here's all of the lists. Excuse me. This is a list, and then inside the list we have all these methods. And you can do, these are the things you can do to the list, and it would then operate. And it has rules. You can append a list, you can clear the list, copy count, so on and so on and so on. But this is a perfect example of object-oriented programming, where you have an object, it will behave a certain way, and when you do certain things to it, it will react to it. Did that help? I don't know. We just had a lot of people just drop. So, no audit. You gonna be able to be back tomorrow? Because we can definitely talk more about this tomorrow. But did that help any? Because we've had a lot of people come and go. We're at a pretty low number now. But we typically don't hit any massive numbers. But I do always enjoy everyone being here. So let's see. So object-oriented programming. So you're creating rules inside an object. I know one of the other ones that is a good way to think about it is think about if you create like a dog object. Then you can adjust the breed. Let's see. Double underscore. What about staff with double underscore? Staff with double underscore. Is it also a method? Let's see. Let's see. Actually, I need to look at something real fast. I need to fix that. I don't need those. And I got 60 frames per second. Okay, good. Let me come back over here. You started learning Python for me? That is absolutely awesome. That makes me... that's why I do this, because I was... Well, I was 36, so that's 11 years ago. So that's 13. There we go. So I was 36. So it was 2013 when I started learning. There we go. I now distinctly remember that. But because I didn't want anybody to have the same challenging that I did, because I hit a wall. There weren't a lot of places for me to go and learn. I tried the books. I tried the MIT class. Let's get this up here. Tried the MIT class, and I think I got through like 2 or 3 weeks of it, and then I just hit a wall. The chicken nugget. Oh, the chicken nugget thing. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. So the chicken nuggets. All right, so there is a you're probably very familiar with a international restaurant chain that sells chicken nuggets in a number of combinations of 6, 9, and 20. So what this challenge was, I think it started at 48 through 101. And what it was is write a function to take these combinations and then create. So like if you walked in, I think 48 is the lowest. No. That's not where the problem started. It started at 51. It said it wanted to know what combinations of these and how many of each to get 51 chicken nuggets all the way through 101. So an example of like 73. I mean, and so you have to think of the rules. So in programming, so in math, you're used to solving for x. Or just doing regular addition. And this equals 3. So that's what we're used to whenever we're thinking about logic and math. Well, in programming, you're setting up the rules. You only care about this. So it would be like row plus, don't know why I'm using that key, plus column equals answer. This is what you design. You have to think about how it works, design it, and then either print or return the answer. That's what you have to think about when you're programming. You don't necessarily have to do the math. You don't have to be able to. You don't even have to be able to do the math. That's what I like about programming is I don't have to be able to. I don't have to sit down and solve any math. I can just design. I mean, I can design a math problem. Be like, okay, it's going to be the max min of blah 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 blah. Okay, I can do that. I can come up. I can create an algebra problem, and Python will solve it for me. That's what programming is designing a way to find an answer. There we go. Designing a way to find an answer. And then you let Python, you let the CPU find the answer for you. So, all right. But yeah, I remember, and then also find the 1/100th prime number. I had no idea how to go about doing this, but I could set up the rules, be like, all right, so what is a prime number? So we can kind of go through this for a second. What are the rules for a prime number? All right, so it's 1 and itself, right? So it's only, what's this? I feel like I got something's. Wonder what that's there for. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to run the whole script. All right. So the definition of a prime number is either it is divisible by 1 or itself. So how do we know? That's the rule, but how do we know? Or how would we test? How would we test for it? So we have to come up. So it's everything in between. Everything in between these two. Well, wait a second. All right. So we have all these tools at our disposal. How can we go through? What's another word for go through in Python? To iterate. Oh, we didn't talk about double underscore. Can you elaborate, expert? Can you elaborate on what you mean about double underscore? Because sorry, I glanced right past that. But yes, very good question. Let's pause here for a second. So double underscore magic methods, right? So basically, a double underscore is rules that you have to interact with built-in functions. So, all right. Well, is expert still here? Sorry. Like I said early on, when you when we do live streams, you get to see all of my ADHD in all of its glory. So basically, a double underscore is you create in your method, in your object. You create a what it's going to do if it gets called. So here are the rules for the class object. And then what happens if it gets called, if you call dir on it. Perfect example. What's it going to do? Things like that. You initiate it. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Repr, hang on. This, yeah, we need to talk about this. Expert, are you still here? Okay. This is actually something that's really good because we need to talk about repr and string when we talk about, so we'll do, all right. So we're going to do generators, we're going to do objects, and then we're going to do importance of double underscore. So everything with double underscore has to do with objects, classes, OPP, object-oriented programming. All of these things are very adjacent and in the same world. So all right, I need to make generators. Okay. Object-oriented programming and set 3 double underscore. There we go. And please don't ever call it dunder. I'm not snobby about this stuff, but just it's double underscore. So just call it. You can call it a magic method. You can do that, but just don't call it dunder. Drives me nuts. It's like when people call it a Cat 5 hurricane. Just say category. Just say double under. All right. Okay. All right. Let's go back here. So the 100th, the finding of a prime number. So we need to test everything in between. So we have a tool to be able to do that. How would we go about? So we need to test everything in between. And the word that I was looking for was iterate. To go through. So we need to go through everything in between. Well, we have a nice tool, the range function. So we would iterate through a number. So you would either have a nested function, or you would inside your function be calling another function. So one we need to know if it's prime. So we need to think about all the steps. Understand, test if it's prime, and then as we're finding prime numbers, we need to be iterating through a count of prime numbers. Oh, the color is bad. I need to sit up and get closer. Yeah, this time of day, it's all right. That's okay. It's not great. I can't sit back that far. The color gets awful. I need to mess with my lighting. All right. So you'd have two. You can have this embedded or nested. So you need to find out. You need to count primes and have is it prime. So that's how you need to go about thinking about stuff like this. So first step is finding out if it is prime, right? And it has to be, so here's where it gets dicey about because if it is evenly divisible, so we go back to our modulo. So there's a lot at play here. If we do have this happen, it is automatically kicked out. So what am I saying if this happens? So if we find a number that it is divisible by anything other than itself, then it is automatically disqualified as a prime number. So then as we do that, then we move our way through. So all right. We can unpack that more maybe tomorrow, and we can look at this. But all right, before I go ahead and drop, because I'm not really having, I think we've covered everything that I wanted to talk about today. Is there any dire question that anybody wants before I do drop? Because I was planning on doing another 25 minutes, but wait a second. How is this? I thought I started right at 8 my time. I guess I did not. I guess I was 10 minutes late. Okay. Well, shows you how much I was paying attention. All right. Going once, going twice. Make sure you are jumping over to the Discord server, because that'll be, if I pay attention better, I'll even more easily see your question. Let's see, anything going on? Nope. Thank you, Jan. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you as always. Glad everybody was able to come and be in here as much as they were, and asking some really good ideas, because we're gonna dive more into that. But all right, going once, going twice. Let's see. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, thank you thank you. Well, I really appreciate it. All right. Okay, everybody. Then we're gonna go ahead and drop the stream. And we do need to talk about tomorrow about setting up the notifications, because everything that I'm seeing is that YouTube keeps changing for the users of for their notifications. So there are a lot of settings that you need to go and dive into. So if you did not get the notification for this live stream, it is on your end. So I've seen that confirmed in 3 other videos. I don't want to replay any videos on here, because I'm not big enough to battle fair use, and I don't need anybody's audio or the video saying that I am streaming somebody else's video. So do a search on it, and I have found in there, and it's buried in there, and I do not know why. It seems very, very overly complicated to get the live stream notification going on. But yeah, it's deep in there. But all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're gonna pick back up on this tomorrow, and I'm leaning back. Is the coloring still good? I'm almost that pale. But if I don't have the lighting this bright, I turn orange with the green screen that I have back here. So it's right there, and it took me forever. And you see my shirt, it's pixelating. Yep, see how I went orange? And the problem also is the lighting and the way that I have the color. And this time of day, the sun's really about to start coming through this window and make this part over here shown, but it makes my teeth start to show on the back. So all right, let's see. Okay, so I'll leave everybody be. Thank you as always for everyone, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.